Today is one of the most important days in the NSX's history. We're deciding the fate of the NSX. And to do that, I brought in one specific person to help us out. For those of you guys that haven't seen the previous episodes of the NSX build, go check those out. For today, we are gonna be making a massive step forward with the NSX. You guys saw when we were doing some quote unquote routine engine out maintenance on the C30A. After that entire situation happened, we had a few different choices. Number one choice was to potentially replace the engine, which was gonna be a $13,000 hit. Choice number two was to pull the head off, get a new head, get a new cam, and put the engine back together with hopes that there's no more metal anywhere else in the engine. And option number three was to go full send. And to help that come true, we have Kyle. You guys might remember Kyle from a couple of the different series that we did. Number one, the 2023Z, as well as right up there, our WRX. She's still here, she's still here.
A couple other little things too. Help with Tim's car, some of the Type R.
So Kyle is, amongst many things, a tuner, engine builder.
Expert. I like to do stuff.
An expert of all things.
I wouldn't say that. I like to do things. So
it's cool. And the reason why we have Kyle out here is because Kyle is currently working on another NSX that is kind of similar to what we are about to do right now. So told you guys we're going full send. We are going full send. And I don't want to give you too much detail just yet because before we can do anything, we have to completely tear down this C30A. Now, what you guys saw previously was, like I said, a quote unquote routine maintenance. We were gonna pull off the valve covers, pull out the cams, do LMAs, a couple of other odds and ends while this was out of the car. When we did that, we found damage, and I wasn't really sure where we were gonna go with that, but we have made the decision. If we are this far with the paint, we got the underside ice blasted, we are now getting all of our arms vapor honed, all of our bolts zinc coated. We're this far with the build, and as much effort as we've put in already to this car, only fitting that we do this the right way, and we are gonna be full sending our C30. Now, what does that mean? We'll talk about that a little bit later. Like I said, we have a lot of work today. We flew Kyle out all the way from Minnesota to come help us. Long story short, SOS will be building our C30A. And in order for them to do that, we have to completely disassemble it here at our shop. Now, since we've never done that before, Kyle has, I wanted somebody here that was knowledgeable and that could kind of guide me in the proper steps to do that. Again, we have never done anything like this before, so an engine build, especially to this caliber, is brand new to me. So I want to be sure to learn and absorb as much as I can. And the only proper way to do that is to have somebody as knowledgeable as Kyle.
So this is a little bit new for Dustin. I mean, you guys have done
we've done basic
stuff. You got pretty deep into the engine, but like, I'm gonna spoil a little bit, like pistons and rods and the crank out, that's totally new to you.
Yes. With something like the C30A, this thing is a beast, number one, but number two, they're very, very hard to come by and very particular.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird, like, stray away from Honda's like normal philosophy, which is reuse and recycle whenever possible. Whereas this engine, I think the Legend shares some parts, but otherwise it's just NSX's, which is a low production count vehicle. So getting things for them, sourcing the parts, it's all kind of a nightmare. I'm fortunate enough to be around these things a lot. We have a few of them at the shop that I'm at. So I'm pretty familiar with them. At the end of the day, it is still just
tearing apart.
Yeah, well, today is easy. It's
putting it together,
and that's not even hard. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is a twin cam V6 engine. It's not rocket science. It's not something crazy where it's got 6 timing chains and a crazy valve train assembly and stuff like that. I mean, it's a dual overhead cam V6 from Honda. So simplicity is on our side, but Dustin definitely was, I guess timid would be the best word, to just like start blowing things apart. And
yeah, so along with that, we have to have this thing extremely organized and taken apart in the correct manner so that when, spoiler alert here, later in the video, I will be delivering this to Science of Speed to get, number one, see their shop and show you guys, but also so that they can have everything organized nice and neat so that when they go to start building, honing, and machining everything, it's nice, ready to go for them, and they'll have to pick it up and basically assemble it all over again. So today, we're gonna be tearing down the C30A and getting this ready for a full build.
So obviously you and Tim kind of put things sort of back together from where it was.
Actually, speaking of Tim, I know you guys probably gonna wonder where he's at. Unfortunately, him and the fam are a little under the weather, so that's why Tim is not here in the shop currently.
Big sad.
Big sad.
Big
I know
sad.
he would love to be here.
I know.
But when we put it back together.
Yes, yes. The sort of like teardown methodology that I like to follow is generally cylinder heads off, crank out, and then pistons out. So that's kind of the very simplistic order of operations of what we're gonna go in. And then we're gonna do some more teardown of the heads once those are out. So we're gonna start by taking the covers off, take the cams out. Then I wanna say the rocker shaft has to come out and all the rockers and stuff like that. And then we can pull the heads off, set them on the table, and then we'll flip the engine over, start from there. So that's what we're gonna start doing first.
And I'm doing my best to absorb and learn all of this stuff. The cool thing about the NSX is, as much as a pain and kind of a wrench in the plans that this threw at us, we have now, or we will have touched every nut and bolt on this car.
100% connected with the car.
That's the coolest part. From chassis to body to now the engine, we will have touched everything. So it's really exciting. I just want to learn and take in as much as I possibly can. So let's get to ripping. Kyle's gonna do one side, I'm gonna take my hand at doing another.
Absolutely. Went out and bought some organizing bins to just kind of keep everything together, because obviously with taking the whole engine apart, giving somebody else everything, and then getting it back in an undisclosed state, some stuff, if we don't organize really well, we're gonna get lost, gonna get forgotten. So whenever I do engines, like the name of the game, especially when I know that they're gonna be down for a while, is just organize everything as best as possible, because it's gonna, assist in putting it back together. You're not gonna have to be looking up a million things and trying to figure out where everything goes. So the one complexity with this engine over like a standard Honda, like a B series or a K series, is like there's just things are a little bit different. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a 90s like supercar or sports car or whatever you want to call it. So there is like little subtle differences that make things just ever so slightly more complicated. So that's where organization really helps. So this is like the point you guys were at last time.
This is where we were. We pulled the cam rail off, we pulled the cams off, we pulled the caps off, and then that's when we found what you'll see in just, I think it was the other head, it was the other one. But
the one that Dustin gets to take apart?
Yeah.
And this is where flat surfaces become super important, because I can just pull all these out, leave the bolts in them, set them down in order, and then they'll go in the bigger bins for a later time, because they won't need any of this stuff when they are going through the heads. And obviously we have one junk head that like honestly doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So I am still having to get a new head and new cam along with the build, but is what it is. This time now we're doing the bottom end, which is gonna make it even spicier, so it's really exciting.
Oh, this is the bad
That's
head.
the one. Look at that. That thing is. So this is my first time seeing it in person. I mean, this is pretty screwed up. One thing that I am seeing, I don't know just off the top of my head, is you see this guy here? So on like some other Honda engines, the feed for like the cam rails and the drippers and everything that lubricates everything, generally, like on a B series engine, if you're familiar, the center cam journal has a O-ring and a dowel pin, and that's what distributes the oil to the cams and everything else in the engine. I see what looks like an O-ring boss here, but at the same time, with no O-ring, but at the same time, there is no oil passage here. So I don't know 100% this is gonna be one of those things that we're gonna have to go back, reference some material. Like I said, I just don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That could be a suspect issue, because the really nice thing while we're doing this would be to figure out why this happened in the first place, because the worst thing that could happen is we put all this time and money into it and we think everything's good, because ultimately up until this point you had no idea that there was an issue.
So I'm hoping that when ISOS goes through the entire engine, they can kind of find that.
There's an answer as to like why. If you wiped the front cam journal or a bearing or something like that, that's pretty easily explainable, like either just poor oil flow, poor oil quality, low oil pressure due to things just being worn out. When you have like an isolated failure like this, it starts to get tricky, because it's like, what really happened?
What did it? Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah, that'll be the nice thing. So we'll see what I find as we tear down. But like I said, I don't know 100% if that's an issue at this moment, but something to note down in the brain for later, especially if we take that side off
and there's an O-ring.
And there's an O-ring or whatever. that could definitely be. Also would be, I mean, you don't know the history of this thing, so like who knows, has this thing had an engine service? How many kilometers are on it?
149,000.
What does that equate to?
Maybe like
to freedom?
90, right at 90.
90? So like not a ton of miles. Like this thing probably wasn't even due for a,
Yeah.
it was probably just about due for a timing belt
Yeah,
service.
I think it had a new timing belt when we
Yeah.
took it off, yeah.
There it goes.
It just comes off just like that.
It's just a big jug. And you won't be putting this back on?
Wait, shh, they can't know that.
Update, we've got plenum off, cams out. Next portion is pulling this rocker shaft out because it's so frustrating. You can see the head bolts, right? You can see them right there, but if you notice, the shaft goes right through it and it's just
Can't fit a socket.
just not quite enough room to pick a socket. So rocker shaft has to come out, these rocker arms come out. We're gonna zip tie these together so they don't fly apart, and then they'll go back in when it goes back together. So we're gonna get to it. So this is VTEC. For
Yes.
everybody that doesn't know what
This
VTEC is,
middle guy right here.
it's that guy.
Oh, Kyle, come on.
So what happens when the VTEC solenoid opens is it forces oil pressure into here, and then these pins float in here, and when oil pressure goes through, it forces the pin into this so that it locks all three of these lobes together. This middle rocker is on the high cam profile of the cam, and that's what gives your extra lift and duration. So that's
cool.
that's what you're hearing.
Pretty cool. Now I'm sure you guys can see why we have Kyla here helping us with this engine.
So we're gonna remember that these are the intake side, and we'll label these and put them together. So there we are. That's a rocker shaft. All it is.
Dope.
Keep going. There you go. For this side, let me do it all over again on the other side. Look at that.
That's insane.
Boom goes the dynamite. This is the moment you're gonna see everything.
Come apart?
Yeah. Have you ever?
No, first time.
Never had a head off?
No.
No? Never?
No. Sender.
It needs more down here. Is it stuck?
Get there. There she goes.
There she goes.
Oh, she's coming. Okay.
All right, you're good. Just there you go.
Oh my gosh. I'm leaking.
Yeah, you're gonna leak.
Nice work.
First head off, making some good progress here, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
You labeling stuff.
I'm just labeling stuff.
Thank you.
This is so cool to see this thing come completely apart like this.
Now, I didn't think we were gonna go this deep, but as bad as it was, I'm stoked that we're doing it. One portion of the head is out, or I guess one head is out. Now it's my turn to try my hand at getting all of this off. It's really cool to be able to do this with someone that actually like knows, so we can go like, as much as it is a pain to like have to do this twice with a V6, it's cool to be able to watch somebody do it and then try it yourself. It's cool.
It's like especially important, especially on like an inline six engine. You can actually snap the cam if you put it together or take it apart wrong.
Really?
Yeah, because they're just so long. On like a 4-cylinder or like a V6, the cam isn't quite as long, so you can have binding issues, which isn't good. But I have personally seen RB.
I want to figure that out.
Like I said, you guys already took this apart. These are like not super tight, so the strain. There's not a ton of stress on it. Just read a couple books.
That's so scary. God. I'm gonna hand these off to you.
Just remember what we did before.
Yep.
Now time for the big portion. Let's get the head off.
See?
All right, the head is free. Oh my God, we did it. We did it. Oh my gosh. We're good. Kyle.
We're good.
Yes. Okay, well, at least one of the big portions of taking the engine off is complete. We got both heads off. Dude, thank you so much for walking me through that.
Yeah,
this is like,
you did great, honestly.
This is the coolest part. I mean, like learning something, number one, new, but something so intricate about the car. It's the coolest thing I've ever done on a car.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good opportunity too, because we were able to kind of like not only walk the viewers through, but kind of you through like what everything is, where it is, how it works, what the point of it being there is. I mean, there's still some more teardown to do, but like the big portion of it, like I would say the most intricate part is getting the heads off. That requires the most amount of disassembly.
Yeah.
Now getting the pistons. And
Epic. Now we gotta turn the engine over and we got a lot more work to do. Hell yeah, dude. We're doing good so far. What is the next plan of attack here?
We're gonna flip it over and take the crank out, and then we're gonna push the pistons out. So it should be fun.
And then it's a bare block after that, right?
Pretty much. I mean, there's some accessory stuff we gotta pull out. I do want to update everybody on our findings so far with taking the second cylinder head off. So these are flipped around, so it's a little bit different. But like we talked about before, we've got these front O-rings like we expected, and then we saw this guy had no O-ring, no dowel pin. On this head, it's actually a little bit different, and it looks like it's actually plugged here. That looks like
this one has a plug and this one doesn't.
So we're gonna either have to talk to Chris over at Science of Speed, or just look through some manuals or part diagrams to see, was there supposed to be an O-ring there or not? I mean,
yeah, again, this is all speculation. So those of you watching like that might know, we're still speculating, but that could lead to damage, seeing as this one, look how much cleaner this is than this.
clean is a relative term, but sure.
Sure, but I mean, you could tell a difference in color, right?
Yeah, there is. I mean, this head looks like almost pretty decent other than this.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does, I don't know, we'll find out.
We'll
That's
see.
the whole fun of this, right?
Yeah, exactly. But next up, let's turn this engine over and start cranking on the rods and pistons. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're staring into the engine here. You guys saw us pull off these caps to inspect the bearings, and everything down here looked okay. That's another reason why one of the choices was to just seal it all up with a new head and new cam and be good to go. But like I mentioned, we're already this far, already this deep. Why not just full send it? If I'm building the NSX of my dreams and this happened, this was the only answer. So now it's time to pull all of this stuff out of the block.
Now that the cylinder heads are off, we can now remove the pistons, and then after we remove the pistons, we'll take out the crank. So first step here is we've already got a few of these rod caps loose. I'm gonna show Dustin how to do this, and then I'm gonna let him go
free reign, baby.
I'm gonna sit back and watch. Glorious. This is pretty easy. I mean, it's essentially just loosen the nuts, pop the cap off, make sure you realize that there is an orientation to these caps and the rod itself, so you need to make sure that they go back together the same way. These are super easy where there's some markings that are on both sides. You can see it's a little bit different the way that they're stamped on each side.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
So they do need to go back together the same way that they came apart, otherwise you're gonna not have such a great time. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's pretty easy. We're gonna take these nuts off, and then there's washers underneath it. We're gonna set these to the side. This one's already cracked, so
yeah,
this is
so we can get the cap off here.
Yeah, the cap will come off easy peasy, so just give it a little wiggle, and there you go. That's all there is to it. And obviously we're going through this entire engine, so we don't really need to worry about hanging on to the bearings or really indexing them. You can kind of see they look pretty good. There's obviously some wear here. You can see some color, some discoloration here that's just normal wear as these things go through. I mean, ideally, the way this works is there's supposed to be a thin film of oil that separates all the moving metal parts. So The less wear, the less heat that you see, that's always generally better. But the purpose of the bearing in an engine is to, if there is a scenario where there isn't oil preventing these two pieces from touching, it's kind of a buffer. This is what's supposed to take the brunt of it first. That's why it's a softer material. Like I said, the bearings will set the oil pressure and lots of other different scenarios just based on the clearances between this journal and the bearing itself. But in a perfect world, we never want these two things to touch or anything to come between them except for oil. Like I said, this one looks pretty good. There's not like scoring. Obviously, I just put a mark in it with my thumb. We're not reusing these, so not a huge deal. But I'm gonna set this on the table, pop this guy out, and then I'm gonna let Duck do the rest of it.
Does it literally just pop right out from the bottom?
Yeah, watch, just put your camera down there. It's like,
let's check it out.
It's like giving birth.
Oh, you literally just pull it out. Oh my gosh.
So there's to it. You kind of got to maneuver it out.
Yeah.
And like be careful not to swing rod.
The arm, and
Yeah, you don't want to swing the rod into either the cylinder walls or the crank and beat all that stuff up. But look how beefy these guys are.
Yeah. This is stock.
Yeah, this is factory.
That's so cool.
So these things are like built with some strength in mind. There's another thing that's kind of cool about these. The main caps actually have a bolt on the side, which you don't actually see on every single engine. So it adds a little bit of strength, a little bit of stiffness to
That's
everything.
cool, yeah. So back before I even knew there was damage to the OEM engine, I was telling you guys, I mean, you really don't have to build these engines. From factory, they are stout as is. And until something happens, kind of like what happened to our engine, they're good as is. Now, I am happy we're doing this because it's gonna be really, really cool, but it is also very cool to see all the OEM bits and how stout this thing actually is. This is so scary.
And then take the socket off, put it on the nut.
Whoa. No way. That's epic. I think this is the coolest thing in the world, dude. I'm loving this. So these are titanium from factory. That's insane. One more. You are, sir.
Thank you.
Kyle, making progress. Sick progress. All rods, pistons are out.
Now we are going to take the main caps off. I guess we can back up a little bit too, because I feel like we're kind of like...
We're moving.
But we're getting close.
Yeah.
We're like, but we're really explaining things here, and I want to keep that theme going. So we did go ahead and take a look at all of the rod bearings and everything. And I mean, the pistons, rods themselves, everything, I mean, looks pretty good. There's a couple of these that I did find some like really light scoring, but for the most part, they were all the same as the very first one we pulled out, where you can tell there's a little bit of wear, like they're obviously not brand new, but nothing, no deep scoring, no foreign material pushed into the bearing. That's another job of the bearing, is anything that's floating around, any contaminants. are meant to be impregnated into that material to keep it from, like I said, rubbing between other moving metal objects. So everything on the bottom end honestly looked pretty good. So that's super confidence inspiring that everything should keep going smoothly. So basically,
We're so close, dude.
The last portion of this is getting the crank out.
We are so close, guys. This is epic. So now all we have to do is get the crank out. Well, I guess get everything holding the crank in, pull the crank, and then get all the accessories off the block, and she's good to go. Main cap's coming off. Snaps it. Yeah, you can see the release and it bubbles. It's crazy.
Gentle. Before
Crazy
material.
to spin the crank like this,
You gotta be
dude.
gentle, but and you know we can see the last piece of the puzzle come out of here. These are thrust bearings, so these control crank end play, and those guys look great. Just a little bit of wear on these edges as to be expected. Overall, like engine, aside from the things that we know we found, which is the cam being destroyed, and then
The head.
and maybe some stuff went through the oil
cap.
pump. Yeah, well, well, that's all the same thing. But it looked like, I haven't even looked at the oil pump, but from what I saw from the pictures and stuff, it looked like there had been some material that went through there. But everything else seems to be pretty clean. So, did you guys ever cut the filter open?
Yes.
And
We found nothing in the filter,
nothing in
but
the
we
filter.
found a lot in the oil pan.
Okay. So things were doing their job.
Yeah.
We were keeping debris out of the rest of the engine. So it's kind of like an isolated failure at that point, which is good. That means that, like, other than the head and all of the gaskets, like you don't need a replacement crank, you know, stuff that's expensive and hard to source is all in good shape. Are you farting kidding me? Who would be doing that right now? Now we're to the point where we're gonna remove the crank and blast off all these brackets, and then
She's ready.
probably the next you'll see of it, it'll be in the back of a car. So, sweet.
Time for the last piece of the puzzle. So theoretically, she should just... Oh my God. This is so scary.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about
Everything's fine. Whoa, just holding the crank, dude. Oh my God, this is juicy.
that. Just like that.
We did it, dude. Almost. We almost did it.
I mean, it's done.
All the big stuff. Cams, crank, rods and pistons, heads, everything is off of our engine. Now it's time for us to organize all this, get the block ready, and load it into the car.
Spot. Hot, I could burn in my slumber.
While we might be done with the engine, we're not done with the mission just yet. We have to load the entire disassembled engine and all the parts into the Type R and go on a 5-hour road trip to Arizona to drop these parts off at Science of Speed. Kyle, we did it. Everybody give Professor Kyle a big thank you in the comments. Huge help coming all the way to California from Minnesota just to help us get this engine disassembled. And he is, of course, going to come back whenever we are able to put it all back together. But engine's done, loaded up. Kyle literally came for 24 hours.
Yeah, it's like 36 in total, I think.
And
so.
he's going back home.
Going back home.
He's got to go to work.
Going to work.
But everybody give a shout out to Professor Kyle in the comments. We'll see him next time. Kyle, safe trip. Love you, brother.
Thanks for having me out.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
And we'll see you guys in the morning. Oh man. Good morning, guys. We have my entire NSX engine loaded into my Civic Type R, and we are making the 5-hour road trip to Arizona to drop this engine off at Science of Speed to get completely built. Well, they can at least machine the engine for us to build it. I've got an entire NSX engine in an F05. It's gonna be epic. And to accompany me on this road trip,
look who we have.
Good morning, Ohio gozaimasu.
Ryan stayed with me all weekend, and he actually lives right next to Science of Speed, so we're gonna be making a road trip and spending the night with him and his Supra. Gonna be super cool. A little bro road trip to go to one of the sickest NSX shops in all of America. So I'm gonna load up and get out of here and start our 5-hour road trip. Dude, it's way too early for this.
It's way too early.
There we go.
Starting route to Science of Speed.
Say it again.
No. Oh, no, 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 no.
Masa, what do you think about the built engine?
Dude, that would be so epic.
Are you gonna come see it in America?
I wish I could if you're gonna sponsor me.
I'll sponsor you to America. Made it to Arizona. A little over 2 hours left to go.
Arrived.
Welcome to Science of Speed. Oh, we made it! 5 hours and some change, but we have made it all the way with our Type R delivery of the NSX engine. Now it's time to go inside and check it out. So for those of you guys that don't know and haven't seen the previous episodes, you should, like I said, go watch those. Science of Speed is essentially the NSX shop in all of the US. Like, this is the renowned shop for NSXs, and that's why we came here. Well, welcome to Science of Speed. This place is unbelievable. For S2000s, Hondas, I mean, it speaks for itself. This place is incredible. Now, I know a lot of you Honda guys are gonna know about this place, but in case you don't, let's go ahead and talk to Chris, the owner of Science of Speed, here on what exactly we're doing and a little bit about Science of Speed. Chris, thank you so much for having us, man.
Good to have you.
The weeks and weeks of going back and forth, Chris is the guy I've been telling you guys about that has literally helped us even before we even knew that our engine was gonna be at this state. So he's given us all of our tips and really helped us along with the maintenance and the build, and especially to this point. So number one, thank you.
Oh, you're very
but
welcome.
Science of Speed, this is incredible. For anybody that might not know about Science of Speed, what do you guys do here? What is this place?
Yeah, so for 23 years we've specialized in the NSX. We also work on the S2000 as well, first gen and now of course the second gen NSX. We do anything really from basic maintenance all the way to, sophisticated engine builds. And during this process or servicing the cars, we develop solutions, products so that people that can't bring their cars to us have a way to keep them on the road.
Right, that's incredible, which is hence why I've been talking to Chris so much when we got ours, because I was telling you it's been abandoned for who knows how long, and it was in rough shape. So getting that engine out and doing that engine out maintenance, as I like to call it, was super important. And then we found this. And at this point, we went back and forth with Chris on some ideas, whether we wanted to do a built engine. Do we just seal the thing back up once we fix the head? Or do we go full send, kind of like how we're doing right now? And what we kind of landed on was the Science of Speed Stage 1 package.
Right.
Can you give us the rundown of what that Stage 1 package is?
Sure, so we really like the idea of keeping the C-Series, the C30, C32 that the NSX came with, because it's bespoke to the NSX.
Exactly, it's the soul.
So a lot of people, they're doing K-Series, and we respect that, especially, the ones making great power, and that sort of thing. That's not what we do, though.
Right.
We really try to keep these cars as close to factory original as possible, even all the way with, doing your car. We have essentially a plug-and-play kit that doesn't require any modification to the chassis and even the engine. It works on a stock engine. So the Stage 1, build is essentially forged pistons, rebushed connecting rods, and then the engine completely refreshed. Now, obviously, when you run into a situation like we you know, saw with yours where there was, you know, some type of component that failed, possibly maintenance related, you know, who's to say at this point. It does give you the opportunity, being that it's completely taken apart,
right,
to, you know, refresh it in a way that, you know, it's not radically changing the engine, but you're doing enough where you can not only support a little bit more horsepower, but make the engine more durable,
right,
which I think is really the most
that's
important.
the coolest part, and it's like almost getting a new fresh engine, but just a little bit better.
Yeah.
A little bit better, which is going to be rad.
Yeah.
So with this package, can you kind of explain a little bit of what you do to the block and the head and all that?
So this is the early C30A engine. It has ductile iron sleeves from the factory. So as opposed to the later NSX engine, where it's a more you know, advanced FRM liner, the good thing is we can bore and hone these sleeves without having to re-sleeve the engine. So as far as fitting forged pistons into the engine goes, essentially we're overboring it to 90.5 millimeter. So that extra 0.5 millimeter allows us to get the circle back to being a circle for the new pistons. We're also rebushing the connecting rods, so they're press fit from the factory. We've converted to a floating floating pin rather. And then, you know, at this point, it sounds like we're going to be doing time certs to reinforce the aluminum threads in the block, new bearings, new seals, and of course all the machine work to refresh the engine.
That is just, I'm so excited. I know that this wasn't planned from the beginning, but as much as the damage that was done to the engine sucks, I am just really happy that it kind of brought us to this point.
Sure.
We were gonna do some cool stuff anyways,
Right.
but now I feel like we're really doing it the right way. And
Yeah, for sure.
now that we actually get to see the shop, I mean, it just reinforces the decision, and knowing that I did reach out to the right people.
Oh,
You know,
right.
it's really cool. So if any of you guys are looking for, I have an S2000 as well that I used to race. So any of my S2000 guys or NSX guys watching this, if you need somebody, these are the guys to go to.
Awesome.
So thank you so much,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for bringing it in.
Now, unfortunately, we can't stay here with Science of Speed. So they're gonna be taking our engine for us and getting all of this done, giving it back to us, and then we're gonna have the fun of putting this thing back together for them.
Right on.
So it's
Thanks,
gonna
guys.
be awesome. Thank you, Chris. I can't give you guys all the spicy details just yet, but you're gonna see. We're gonna take a look inside the shop here and see what they have. So we've got Jeff here, WeTech here. What do you got going on here? Is it some maintenance?
Major engine service, timing belt, water pump, gaskets, seals, all the coolant hoses.
All the stuff that we were supposed to do until we found out our engine was gonna be toast potentially. So that's really cool. So people can bring their cars here and have service done and, you know, have the whole thing taken apart essentially, right?
Yeah, basically.
You guys do everything.
Refresh everything, so that way all you have to do is drive it and change oil.
Isn't that the best part? That's
And
so
I mean,
cool.
maintenance is really important, obviously, especially with these cars, just because they're getting so expensive to repair if something's not maintained. But because they're built so well, we have Sean Dirks, a customer of ours, with 450,000 miles.
Original engine.
450, not kilometers, miles.
Miles.
Wow.
Powertrain, original transmission, and the key, you know, cosmetically, you know, he's looking forward to refreshing it. But as far as the mechanical, you know, condition of the car, it's in great condition, and it's just because he's dedicated to maintaining it properly.
That is incredible. So you guys can see.
Goes a long way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys can see where all this work gets you. 450,000 miles.
Yep.
That's so cool. That's really, and that's cool that you guys get to work on that too, right? Like that's a pretty special
I think
car.
I started working on it when it had around 180,
Shut
200,000
up.
miles.
So you've gotten to see the life of the car. It also proves your work, right?
Sure.
Like that's just incredible.
NSX, this is a 94, pretty rare one.
I love this
between
color.
The Brooklyn's Green Pearl. It's funny, we were just talking to another customer about this earlier today. Like this color used to be the color that like no one wanted.
Of
you know,
course, that's how it always is.
Now the Brooklyn's Green, the Midnight Purple, like everybody wants, you know, that color. But you know, I mean, you talk about, you know, the big difference between the cars that we get in here. Like we have a 96 NSXR that's going to be here next week. It's got, you know, like 6,000 kilometers on it. It's going to be going to auction.
Yeah.
They're shipping it from the UK to us here to do the major maintenance on it to get
That's
it,
cool.
you know, prepared for the auction sale. And then you got cars like this that, you know, the guys own for several decades. He's done maintenance on it, but I wouldn't say it's just a normal car for him. But you know, everybody has different levels of sort of appreciation for the car. And so we really get the span, you know, on these cars, which I think is kind of unique to the NSX, because the appreciation, like if you look at, like, if you had a graph, right, time versus appreciation level, it's kind of like exponentially increasing like that.
Yeah,
so
JDM cars in general, man.
JDM cars in general. I'm talking about, you know, varying types of cars. So we have
this is nice,
this GT2 NSX that we recently did a new engine on. So it's a 3.5 liter.
Oh my god.
So the car had a stroker engine that was built long ago. It's been through a couple different refreshes just from, you know, race wear and tear.
Right.
So the owner wanted to improve the performance, specifically in the engine speed range that he works in, you know, on the track, you know, roughly 6,000 to 8,000 RPM. So compared to the old engine, which was a 3.6 liter, we changed a few things about it, modified the intake manifold, larger throttle body. We gained 65 horsepower at 7,500 RPM. Pretty big gain. I think at rev limiter, it's actually close to 80 horsepower gain. Similar displacement, actually lower displacement on this one, but by adjusting the stroke and the cams, we were able to get that power gain. So I'm really excited to see him.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's going to be back on the track next month at the Historics at Road America.
Wow. So, oh my gosh, what a comeback to Road America.
A lot of NSX guys know the name John Vassos. He you know, was well regarded in the NSX community, you know, one of the pillars of the community. He passed away recently. So to be able to work on the car that he maintained and kind of take it to the next level is a really cool experience.
Chris, dude, thank you so much. Showing me around a little bit. I am so excited to show you guys what we have planned. And like I said, if you guys need anything for your cars, I think it speaks for itself here.
Awesome.
You getting your churro?
My second home in Arizona here. Ryan's actually a cat lady, if you guys didn't know.
Dad, thank you very much.
Kitty.
What a sweet boy.
Also, really cool fun fact, SOS is literally walking distance from Ryan's place, which is insane. Had no idea coming in this. I just knew that, you know, Ryan lives here. SOS was here. It was the perfect time for Ryan to come home, and it just worked out that we had to deliver the engine, unknowing that this place was literally 3 minutes, a 3-minute drive from Ryan's house.
Guys, I've lived in this area for about 7 years and had no clue that the premier NSX shop was right across the street from me.
It has been a long few days. Heck yeah, dude. A little bit later, but this is a tradition. Every time we come and visit Ryan.
Sorry, I'm holding fat. Whoa, you gotta put the e-brake in. Oh my God.
Just rolling back. Every time we visit Ryan, we come get a place called Jin Shabu, but this time a new spot opened up, and this is Japanese barbecue and hot pot. Perfect way to end our awesome couple of days here eating some Japanese meats. Oh my gosh, it feels like we're stepping into, oh my God, an Akihabara restaurant here. I've never seen this before, ever.
This is amazing.
This is hot pot and Japanese barbecue.
Dude, this is like the two things that I can't choose between together. This is crazy.
This is amazing, and not to mention, it literally looks like a place out of Akihabara.
Yeah, like honestly, the layout is pretty fire.
One of my favorite meals in Japan is shabu shabu, so I am so stoked for this. Let's try it out. And we get yakiniku. Can you go for it?
Yeah. Grill as well, right?
The hot pot is hot potting. So good. Oh my God, I forgot about these.
get these fucking, as much as I know that like gin would have probably been good, this is it.
That was incredible. I think we had like 5 pounds of meat.
We ate the entire ass off the rhinoceros.
That's cool. That's the neon there is insane.
Yeah.
All right, now I think we can go back and officially rest. Dude, I could literally go into hibernation.
Dude,
full
you're gonna have to
hibernation.
roll me into the house, dude.
All right, see you guys back at the house. Well, guys, we made it back. Ryan immediately fell asleep. We are exhausted after a fuel fest. All day working on the NSX engine, and then the road trip here to drop the NSX engine off to SOS. It's been a brutal few days, so I think this is where we're gonna end it. Speaking of brutal, also, those of you guys that live in Texas, it was 116 degrees here today. You guys just live in this? How hot is it right now? Right now at 10:45 at night, 99 degrees. You guys just live in this? How do you go outside? Oh, all right. This is, I'm sure, a very, very long video. So Tiana and I are about to go on our 5-year anniversary trip for a couple of weeks. So what you guys are going to see next are some videos that we stacked up previously. And while we are on our vacation, Science of Speed will be building our engine, or the machine shop will be machining our engine, so that when I get back shortly after our trip, we'll be able to come back to Arizona and pick up the engine and the parts and start getting the engine assembled and back into the car so that we officially have a running NSX. And I am so excited to show you guys the plans that we have. I know I keep saying that, but it's gonna be worth the wait. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm so stoked that you guys are enjoying the NSX series in general. So it's just going to keep getting better. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys for the next one. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Leave us a comment down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. We will see you guys for the next episode. Peace out. Oh, you're still here. Thanks for watching this long. If you made it this far, you should consider subscribing right up here, or I guess down below. And YouTube really thinks that you're going to like this video right over here. So maybe check that one out. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let's get back to it.